IMF tells Greeks to pay their taxes. Doesn't matter, over 90% of the money is actually owed to private central banks, saying too big to fail. Love how they told you, oh, too big to fail, we got to back these banks up. And the very bankers lecture us while they make billions of our money, stolen, not free market, on how we've got to pay them more taxes. And they know full well that's shutting down economies. You raise taxes, tax revenue actually goes down because it stalls the economy. Kennedy knew that. Reagan knew that. It's not that they don't care. They know that. They want an imploding economy. Big news blitz on a host of subjects coming up in the next segment. But right now, let's go back to Sean in Arizona, Diane in Louisiana, and others. Sean, you're on the air worldwide.
Thank you, Alex. I've got a couple bullet quotes today on slavery and freedom for Memorial Day. May I begin?
You've got the floor worldwide.
Thank you, sir. I know of no better way for the state to keep its people under control than a perpetual state of war. Joseph Stalin. Scientific concept of dictatorship means neither more nor less than unlimited power, resting directly on force, not limited by anything, not restricted by any laws, nor absolute rules. Nothing else but that. Lenin. And here I have another one. Our power does not know liberty or justice. It is entirely established on the destruction of the individual will. We will find the way to debase humanity down to the lowest level of existence, like down in Florida today. And Khrushchev said that. Then I have a couple of them on freedom here. This is just a tremendous quote that every black American should be proud. The quote is this: power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and never will. Find out just what people will submit to, and you have found out the exact amount of injustice and wrong which will be opposed upon them.
That's Thomas Jefferson.
That, my friend, it's Frederick Douglass.
I know Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was paraphrasing Jefferson there, though. Yeah, that is Frederick Douglass. But Frederick Douglass said, "Power is not given up; it is demanded." Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I stand to be corrected.
No. You're right. Both of them said that.
Follows, and nobody ever seems to quote it. It's this: the strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is, at last resort, to protect themselves against tyranny and government. Never heard that quoted by anybody before. I've got a short one by T.R., Teddy Roosevelt. This goes to what we talk about every day, what you talk about every day. T.R. said this: to announce that there must be no criticism of the president, or that we are to stand by the president, right or wrong, is not only unpatriotic and servile, but morally treasonable to the American public. Don't these just give you chills?
No, they do, and he did say that on record. There's even one of the first film clips of a president where he paraphrased that, also his famous arena quote. But what do you make of not just the school teacher saying, be arrested if you criticize Obama, but others are saying that? I have TV newscasts where they say, don't talk about Obama or we will arrest you. I mean, this is getting really crazy. What do you think of Australia, once a very free country, saying, don't criticize carbon taxes or a $1 million+ fine? I mean, this is authoritarianism. It's racing on every front. But I see that as a sign by the corporate governing class that's used government to kill the free market and competition, the monopoly class, as a sign of desperation. What do you say?
Well, absolutely. And, of course, the Bible talks about it at the end time when Christ comes back. People will come to him and say, I've done this and this in your name. And he'll say, go, I do not, flee from me, I do not know you. And really, there's just a remnant that really understand freedom and liberty anymore, like you and I and the listeners do. I think it really comes down to that, and it's very unfortunate.
Well, you're an amazing caller. I really enjoyed hearing your points, and I'm glad that we were able to get you on. And all those quotes you stated, yes, I know Frederick Douglass. He actually even had some quotes that were paraphrased but expanded on of Jefferson. In fact, I did a video like 4 or 5 years ago with a quote of his in there, but it was like freedom and rights are not given, they're demanded, they're taken. I forget the full scope of it, but they were basically paraphrased Jefferson, but the way he said it was even more powerful. I mean, look, a nation of sheep will be ruled by wolves. It's a very simple equation. If we roll over, criminal elements will take over. And by the very textbook of tyranny, we're under it. And it's a joke to sit there and put up with this any longer. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Hey, guys, I got so many phone calls here on my little computer screen, and they're all... Okay, Freedom in California. Well, that's an oxymoron. Hello, Freedom, under globalist takeover, globalist beachhead, California. How are you doing over?
Good. Thank you, Alex, for taking my call. I've been a student of Freedom for about 20 years and a fan of yours for just about as long. I want to tell you about something that I think is one of the most important things that we can be aware of today, and it has to do with canceling out the debts that people owe to the bankers. And it has to do with something called accepted for value. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, you have to accept a contract. They just can't announce a contract and say you're under it. And even if they have you sign a contract, if it's done in fraud, it's null and void. All of this is null and void. And I declare it's a fraud, and I declare it's a scam. They tell you protesting doesn't have power, or saying no doesn't have power. Why are they SWAT teaming and setting up protesters, whether they're conservative or liberal, everywhere? Because the system is scared of it. That's why I'm headed to Bilderberg to get in their face big time. They had the media telling the public it didn't exist. How discredited are they now? Go ahead and make your point.
Yeah, they're extremely discredited now, and the bankers are trying to foist a fraud upon all of the people. And what happens is the people have to be aware of the nature of money and banking. And
they got to be aware they're going to stage a terror attack and pose as saviors. But yeah, get into the fractional reserve banking. Preach it. Tell them. Explain it.
Credit is created with a signature, and when something is put upon you to pay, and there's no substance in payment, you go back to the policy, which is HJR 192 of June 5th, 1933, that says no contracts can be put forth that call for payment in substance. They have to be.
And I'm talking about this 15 years ago, and people laugh, but now we hear about Bank of America, Wells Fargo, others taking houses they never had a deed to that weren't in foreclosure. Cash paid off houses. The police come and take you out of them and give it to Bank of America, and then it comes out in court. They stole the thing and lied in court to get it. It's incredible. And the banks loan you money that never existed to be able to take over property. You're absolutely right. It's incredible.
True. The way that we can deal with that, though, is when we accept those contracts and they don't accept our acceptance of those contracts, they are now in default, and we now become the owner of that contract, which means we can proceed to involuntary bankruptcy at that point because we're the creditors now.
Let me boil this down in layman's terms so folks don't get confused about what you're saying. We've never been a perfect country, but we've been the freest the world's ever seen. So it created wealth untold. 5% of the population of the world had half the wealth. Now we're 6% of the population, have about 20%. We've been robbed. A bunch of shysters, carpetbaggers, scammers, flim-flammers, projectors, con men came in, created a bunch of financial instruments that are fraudulent, leveraged the Ponzi scheme to take over the government, and are now saying we're terrorists if we don't want to be gang raped by Bernie Madoff. Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know? All right, here's what I'm going to do on this live Sunday, the 27th day of May, 2012, at a Bilderberg in Virginia. We're going to take your calls in this segment. I will news blitz on the other stories I've alluded to but haven't gotten to in the next segment. Guys, who is up next? Who should I go to next? Diane, and then Daniel, Steve, David, John, Hamilton, and others. Diane in Louisiana, you're on the air.
Happy trails, Alex and the Info crew. I'm calling from Fremont Regions, number 6. I was calling to find out what's the deal with Rick Perry and endorsing David Dewhurst.
Well, David Dewhurst was in the CIA and involved in black ops when some really bad stuff happened in Latin America. He helped get the TSA into Texas when the legislature passed unanimously a law against it to grope and to molest our children. David Dewhurst is super bad. I got to be honest. The other Republican candidate, Mr. Cruz, running against him, is almost as bad, but claims he's a Ron Paul type. But the fact that the establishment is behind Dewhurst, and Dewhurst has got about a 15-point lead, shows you that he's super bad news. I mean, Rick Perry's a guy that got up on the news and said, it's the law to take an experimental vaccine that's been killing people in trials. Well, it wasn't the law. He just claimed it was and got exposed by the legislature. But Rick Perry is a discredited monster. And so he should just get out of politics and go straight to Hades. But what do you think of that?
I am in agreement with you. But I was checking over the internet, and I ran across this Ron Paul Fest that's going to be held in Florida. And they're looking for thousands and thousands to attend. I wish I could be there.
I don't know about the Ron Paul Fest, but I know they got a lot of people going to the Tampa event.
From August 24th through the 26th.
I'm sure it's going to be wild. What else is on your mind today?
Okay. Oh, yeah. And the vets, I enjoyed the vets throwing their medals at that G20 summit or whatever that was held up there. It was just amazing.
Well, let's talk about medals. I mean, sure, that they threw their Afghan medals back. Our government, which is a criminal foreign banking group that's hijacked the country, grows opium publicly. It was like 10% of world production. It's 93% now. Just look that up. Folks, don't believe me. Just type in Afghanistan now, 93% of world opium production. They load it on C-130s. They ship it in to Europe, the United States, you name it. The troops are ordered to grow it. Pat Tillman spoke out, so they killed him. Doesn't matter. It's now out there. And this is the type of stuff they're doing. And they want to sell us on tyranny as if we support the troops. The troops don't want tyranny. The troops don't want this. The globalists hide behind the troops. What do you say to that?
Oh, man, it's just amazing, all this stuff that's going on in the world today. I just want to wish you luck on your trip to Bilderberg, and I just want you to just call them out. Just call them out, and God bless you.
God bless you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Great to hear from you. Diana, Louisiana. Daniel in Arizona, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, welcome.
I'm
yes,
not
go
in
ahead.
Arizona. I'm in Rochester, New York.
Well, look right here. It says Daniel in Arizona. I'm even showing people watching on Prisonplanet.tv right now.
Well, maybe
it says Arizona.
Maybe they moved me without my knowledge.
Maybe anyway. The aliens kidnapped you, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got a couple of news stories here.
Let's just say you're calling from Planet Keebler.
Maybe so. I come across this news report. Newark Airport security was charged with identity theft and may be charged with murder. And this guy had been using another person's identity for 20 years, and he started using it before the guy died. And then he shows up dead, and it's
Look. Who wants to grope men, women, and children all day and boss people around and scream at them for no reason? They just busted a Catholic defrocked priest who reportedly abused 3 little girls as the head in Philadelphia of the TSA. Every day or two, I read about them kidnapping children, raping women, shipping drugs. Who else wants to be a TSA agent? It's a 10th Amendment violation. The feds are out of their jurisdiction. It's a 4th Amendment violation. It is a joke. It is an abomination. But soon they'll have us salute the new American flag, which is an image of a child being raped by a TSA agent. Well, I'm sorry, that's not my America.
Nor mine. But
you're Al-Qaeda.
This guy's an illegal alien, and they make him head one of the supervisors of Newark
No,
Airport.
I saw that report. And there's dead people. That's freedom, sir. Yeah, listen, TSA's confirmed they don't do background checks. Stalin and Hitler, both, when they got into power, hired people out of the prisons. That's why they do it. Normal police have been trained on the Bill of Rights and Constitution. These aren't police. The police can't randomly pull you over and stick their hands down your pants or grope your wife or daughters. They do. It's illegal. Now the TSA is running highway checkpoints in all 50 states. It's all